Hello and welcome back to another episode of A Build a Day. Yeah, that was a weird intro. Anyway, today we're building a medieval style, I guess, tavern. It's sort of a combination of medieval and sort of fantasy ideas, sort of stuff, and I think it's a really cool build. And once again, the inspiration for this build has come from a book. So I started reading The Wheel of Time, and if you don't know, it's a rather long series, lot of books, and they're quite long. The first book is around 700 pages long, and first and second book are about the same length as Lord of the Rings, the entirety of Lord of the Rings. So it's quite long, but the sort of, no spoilers, but the sort of beginning of the book, your sort of characters, they go into the village, and the author describes a tavern with some ruins of some the foundations of allegedly another bit of the tavern, according to the local folk. And then there's like a bridge going over a river, and it the way that it's described is a lot better than I'm describing it now. But I sort of took that idea, imagined what it would look like, and we sort of have kind of a result of that in Minecraft. So it's a little bit different. I've given it my own jazzing up, made it sort of into the style that we've been building a lot recently. But while we've been building it in it a lot, I think it looks pretty good. We've sort of jazzed up some of the replay mod. I hope that it's done better than the last video, because some of that was not good. So I've sort of tried to keep it on the same height as all the other cameras and stuff. So hopefully it looks a bit better. But yeah, that's sort of where the inspiration for this build came from. Obviously, we're building it in the style that we've been building a little bit recently. We sort of got the first build in the background as well, actually. And I maybe spent an hour, sort of 45 minutes maybe, more accurate, sort of designing this build in a creative world. It took a lot of designing, and I sort of settled on the brick base, and then I built the roof because I knew what the roof was going to be. It's the roof that we used, I think, 2 episodes ago on one of the builds where we just built a roof on a generic house. So I used that roof. I properly used the entire gradient, from mud bricks all the way up to the hay, which, from a distance, when you put it in the screenshots, looks really, really good. Close up, it looks a bit odd, but when you get further back, it looks pretty good. And then I was thinking in the creative world, what walls I can have, and I was thinking, could maybe do like a complementary color to orange, but that's sort of like a bluey color, sort of a bluey turquoisey, I think, I hope. But then I was like, it sort of has like a warm tint, the roof, so why don't we do it out of a warmer color? And then I looked at the top of the roof, and it was like, hay blocks are quite orange or yellow. So I built the walls out of orange concrete. And then got a dark oak trim on the roof. Giant chimney as well. That's pretty cool. I have to say that chimney definitely adds to the build. That chimney, it is needed. I think it would look good without the chimney. Yeah, I mean, it still look like a good build, but it sort of adds, in the location that I've put it, there's sort of like the main block of the building, and then there's the little bit that comes out of the side, and then the chimney is on the other side to that, and it's even taller. So it sort of like slopes up, and it kind of points you to the bit of this building that actually looks probably the best, which is the roof. Obviously, as we can see here, we've done the outline. I'm doing the roof on the little bit, which is really annoying because that's going away now, but we'll see the roof on the bigger bit. Hopefully we can get that. I built this build finally in the correct order. I finally remembered I need to texture the frame and then texture the walls, because that way it makes my life a lot easier. And it was a lot easier. I just went through and I popped in all of the oak wood into this spruce sort of frame, and then used World Edit to just change all the orange stuff. But anyway, that is in the future. Right now, we are working on the roof. So obviously, as we can see, I have this sort of other bit of the building that's coming off of the back, and this I kept on messing up the roof because it's the same roof as the other little bit coming off the building, but the way I have it designed is it matched up with the main roof, because obviously it connects to that, so I have it be a smoother transition in and stuff, and it would look a little bit less obvious. But then the way I texture it is I go through the top block in the row. So there's 2 high rows of the blocks. I go through the top block and add the block above it to the top of that row, sort of fade it in a little bit, and it gives it a bit of fuzziness. It's a relatively simple way of just making the gradient a bit smoother, while keeping the sort of hard defined borders. Then we're working on the roof top trim thingamajig with the fences and candles. I love that bit. It's such a nice little thing. It adds a lot as well to the build. And then good old chimney. Love a good old chimney. Brick walls, and obviously they connect. So I popped a string on the middle one to sort of give it the 3 top bit thingy-majigs. So that was pretty cool. Now we're texturing it, look at that. Look at me go. I actually got something right for once. That was pretty good. I have to say, I really like this build. But I can't help but feel that I am overdoing this style. And by overdoing, I mean like flooding the sort of videos with this style. I mean, it's the style that I like building in, but the idea of this series is to sort of experiment and get me experimenting with different builds, which was the whole point of the series. It's the whole reason why it exists, is I wanted to get better at building, and then that sort of spawned the idea of, hey, I have a YouTube channel, why don't I make it into YouTube videos, and then it spawned this series. So I think me building what I like, and what I feel is safe in, is not the best idea for experimenting and getting better at building. Obviously, clearly I've got better at building. I mean, you can just see that as you watch the series, as the builds are just getting a bit better every single episode. But I want to challenge myself. I don't really do organics, so no statues, etc. I think it would be an interesting challenge. Maybe do some statues. Not great at modern stuff, and now that my exams are over, I can now start working on the 100 subscriber episode, or 100 and 200 subscriber episode, I guess, because we had those two milestones before I could make the 100 episode, the 100 subscriber episode. So that's going to be coming. I just need to work out how on earth to do a modern style, because I don't often build modern stuff, and it's going to be difficult. So I have an idea, roughly, but I need to test it out and properly design it, and it's a big episode, so I want it to be good, unsurprisingly. But anyway, back to the build. We've textured it. We are now detailing it. And while I was in the building world, testing this out, I'd sort of detailed everything, and then the front just looked a bit empty, a bit flat, a bit bland. So along with the windows, I added this like awning-y bit at the front over the door, and I think that was a very good choice, because it adds just a little bit of like, that's cool. It adds a little bit coming further out of that sort of rather flat wall, actually. The rest of the wall is a few windows and some planters, and then the rest of it's just empty. So adding that in, I think, was a pretty good idea. And as you could probably maybe see, I forgot to texture the chimney. I did realise later, but I don't really know how I forgot. It's there and is literally the tallest bit of the build, but oh well. I think I noticed around about here. Oh no, when are we gonna do it? Are we gonna do it? It might be now, actually. There we go. I finally remembered to do that. The build is nearly done. I think the finishing touch is just this fence around the outside. I don't know why. It works. Not really sure why. Maybe it's because it's raised up, and it feels like it needs like a safety barrier or something. Although this is pretty null and void because it's got a load of giant holes in it. But anyway, the video's over. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you tomorrow.